Better English than I speak Russian, so. Okay. All right. Whatever you wish. As you wish.
Мир стремительно меняется.
The world is changing rapidly.
Yep, the future just isn't what it used to be.
А как вы считаете, что вот важно для человечества? Нащупывать какие-то новые уровни организации или наоборот сохранять связь с традицией, с памятью?
What do you think? What's the more important for the whole world? To get higher levels or to balance
New levels of
the new levels, or to balance what we have,
Well, I
or
think,
или связь с памятью,
or
с традицией.
the contact with our traditions, with our culture, with our memory.
well, I think all of that. I think all of it. I think that, you know, as Gregory Bateson said, we very seldom really create something new. We innovate. But it's remembering what we've forgotten that is generally the most important. I think that's one thing. I think another thing is awareness, and that kind of higher, bigger, wider sense of awareness. And we better take care of our mom, which is the Pachamama, the Mother Earth, and that connection. And begin to think in a more systemic way. And less fractionation in our thinking, which means we better come to our senses because we are living in an age of extinction.
Не нужно дробить, а нужно, чтобы был системный взгляд, потому что мы живем в цельной природе.
То мышление, которое привело к появлению машинной цивилизации, к той цивилизации, в которой мы существуем, создает целый ряд проблем.
The way of thinking in industrial way is creating many problems in our world.
Yeah. And it begins with the fractionation in the thinking.
Но поиск при этом, поиск нового мышления, которое позволило нащупать решение этих проблем.
But the searching of the new way of thinking, which can resolve those problems.
Наверное, связан с появлением некой новой идентичности, коллективной идентичности.
Probably is connected with the appearance of new identity, the collective identity.
Yeah, I think definitely that's the system, and that collective identity is there. We're just not connected to it.
Она уже есть, почему бы не присоединиться?
That system is there, but we've disconnected ourselves from it. Is the way I think about it. And, you know, mind and nature are reflected. But, you know, I call it, what are the ways we lost paradise? One of the ways we lost paradise was to think in that fractionated. This is a good plant, this is a bad plant, this is a good animal, this is a bad animal. We started to split the world.
Мы начинаем разделять его, плохое, хорошее, черное, белое.
And we lost the system, we lost the connection to the whole, and I think that, to me, that's one way we lost paradise.
Связана ли эта коллективная идентичность с языком?
Что
является проводником этой идентичности?
What is the conductor of this identity?
То есть эта идентичность существует как некая платоновская идея?
Does it exist like just an idea of Platon?
Или она синтезируется в результате синергии?
Or does it produce as a result of synergy?
Collective synergy.
The collective sense of self, I mean the collective identity,
Вы имеете в виду
коллективная идентичность человечества?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I mean, it's a great question. We can see sort of the, I think, you know, dreams are to the individual, myths to the culture. First of all, I go, you know, the dream is to the individual, the myth is the dream of the culture. The archetypes are more human all the way around, you know, everybody has the lover in some form, the king, the sage, the the warrior. I mean, the heroes,
Воин.
the journey of the hero. I mean, that's kind of another level of connection
Это как
that
это
comes
уровень
out of
присоединения
the human form.
к человеческой форме.
That when and there is a collective consciousness. I think it's there.
Это
Some
коллективное
people can
сознательное.
tap into it. Some people can tap into that whole connection in nature and lose the sense of self in it. You know, I mean, they go, this is me. And other people are so sort of in this small part of the brain called the intellect that they can't release that because they think that's where life is, you know, that's it, that's all there is. That's another way we lost paradise in a way. You know, short term, task, I gotta get the apple, you know, stack up the boxes, strategy, get the apple. You know, who cares if, you know, who's falling by the wayside, you know, dead bodies, dead animals, dead trees. I mean, you know, I've lost my connection there. It's another way to fall from paradise, I guess. But I think, you know, I think there, from my feeling, my hope, you know, is I see awareness starting to blossom, you know, in different places. And part of that seems to be for some people that they kind of remember ancient traditions when people were really, you know, when the Native Americans, for example, you know, that wolf was another person and he's just a person with 4 legs, you know, and that eagle was another person. It was just the people that live in the sky, you know. You know, or the first prayer maybe when somebody killed the bear and took in that breath, you know, that first prayer going, thank you on this day, I get to live because you sacrificed your life, but on any other given day it may have been the opposite way. And that awareness of that's what people seem to be so cut off from. And I definitely get the sense that awareness is glimmering in people, places around the world. That's my deepest, dearest, also wish and hope, you know. I'm gonna cry now. I'm so.
Я сотрудничаю с Делозской инициативой.
Well, he has contacts with Delozьe initiative. It's the project.
Contact with what?
It's with Delos project.
Delos?
Delos is
Delos in the island is easily in Helada.
Yes. Apollon was born.
Yeah, I know Delos. Yeah, I just wasn't sure that's what I heard. I go,
Аполлон покровитель священных пространств.
He is the god of sacred spaces.
Yeah.
И Делозская инициатива объединяет ученых из 30 стран.
And this project in which scientists from 30 countries can collaborate.
Nice, beautiful.
И эти ученые призывают к введению определенных режимов охранных зон в священных местах природного происхождения.
They want to have special zones for sacred places.
Потому что современная практика природопользования может исказить сущность этих мест.
Because our industrial way can make damage to these sacred places.
Oh, totally. Totally. Do all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
Одновременно, то есть параллельно с этим процессом у нас устанавливаются контакты с коренными народами.
In the parallel, there is another process to contact with native tribes, with native people.
В том числе и с индейцами Южной Америки, народами Коги.
And for example, Kogi, the Indian from the South America.
Которые несколько лет назад, то есть люди из этих племен, старейшины этих племен,
the chiefs of these tribes
почувствовали необходимость обратиться ко всему человечеству.
Feel the needness to
The necessity, yeah.
the necessity
Yes.
to make some message.
Message.
They have the message for the whole
The world, yeah.
О необходимости сохранения и создания определенного рода духовных заповедников вокруг этих священных мест.
To make sacred special places around these objects, special sacred objects.
Они ищут контакты с ЮНЕСКО, с международными организациями.
They are searching for contacts with UNESCO and other worldwide organizations.
Для того, чтобы влиять определенным образом на политику, на законодательную.
To affect on the law base, to affect on the government, this level.
И они считают, что Земля находится под угрозой.
They believe that the Earth is in a dangerous situation.
Absolutely, I agree with them, yeah.
Они считают, что Земля живая.
They believe that the Earth is alive.
Absolutely it is.
Yes. И сохранение священных мест.
I concur. I know it is.
Сохранение священных мест очень важно для сохранения устойчивости планеты и всей системы.
And to reserve these places is
Yeah.
a highly important thing for the whole planet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Но
It's
их
our
убеждение, их вера и наше
It's our
убеждение,
mom.
наша вера
Our belief and our religion
входит в конфликт с современными представлениями о том, что такое мир.
conflicts with the modern view on what world is.
Yeah, yeah.
Эти представления сложились в эпоху просвещения.
These beliefs were produced in the era of
It will be in English.
resurrection era, like the
France,
2,000 years
in
ago.
the Middle Ages.
Rousseau,
Renaissance?
For around the Middle Ages.
The
from the Middle
Renaissance,
Ages.
the
Yeah,
Renaissance.
yeah, yeah. Renaissance, for instance.
когда единое религиозно-метафизическое сознание
When the whole religious metaphysical awareness
развалилось на три мира, распалось на три мира.
split it into two worlds.
Мир империй,
The world of empires,
мир интерсубъективной политики,
the world
конвенций,
of politics, conventional and so on, regulations.
Yeah.
и мир
yeah.
субъективный.
Yeah.
И субъективный, третий.
And the third world is subjective.
Yeah, third world is subjective.
И окружающий мир был лишен субъектности.
And the surrounding world
Yeah.
Was out of any.
Был лишен
The natural
смысла,
world, yeah.
смысла.
Without any sense, without.
Yeah,
И
that it was,
смысл сознания только
yeah.
лишен.
I mean, I remember in university looking at, because my background is in comparative religion and anthropology, and so I was looking at when the Europeans came, you know, to the United States, or to the New World. They called it the New World in the East Coast of the United States, and there was just this vast natural world there with, you know, native people living in a sense of harmony there. You know, they could survive. You know, not only survive but thrive, right? And you know the people, the Puritans, we call them the Puritans. You know, coming from England, Scotland, Ireland, yeah. And I guess the Norway guys were there before.
Norway, yeah.
You know,
Norway.
They really discovered America, but nobody believes that. I believe that, but anyway. You know, they cleared land and they created this, you know, this space where they were safe, you know, where they had, you know, the barriers all around. And, you know, the guys out there, they even in literature, they were red devils. You know, they were red devils, yeah. And then there was this, you know, nobody from the outside was going, oh, I want to go live in here, you know, inside of this fort. But people on the inside were getting curious, you know, how are those guys, you know, they're surviving out there. So you slowly had people, special people that were going out, you know. And then they became another name. What was it called? The noble savage.
Yeah,
So there's this shift kind of in the thinking, you know, that you could even see, you know, in the literature that was so kind of intriguing to me that that represented, you know, that was fear, that was chaos, that was death, you know, this was survival, this was clarity, this was, you know, yeah, and that was, yeah, and you know, the sacred spaces, like Canyon de Chelly, you know, I talk about Canyon de Chelly in the United States, it's just like my Mecca, you know, one of my places to go for, just to be held in the, you know, by the arms in this giant deep canyon and, you know, 1,000 feet of red rock on both sides, you know, just being held by the mom, you know, who feeds us, who clothes us, who houses us, you know. You know, even animals don't mess in their own nest, you know.
То есть для того, чтобы соединить эти миры, разные миры, появилась
So
новая
for connecting these worlds,
субъективный мир, мир человека. Да.
human world,
Нужен новый образ мира.
we need a new world order,
Новый язык,
new language,
новый миф.
new myth.
New myth, a new dream, yeah, a new myth.
Как по-вашему, как будет распространяться, через какие каналы будет распространяться новый миф, в котором человек сможет найти новую идентичность для себя?
How it will be propagate for which channels, where we can find the new identity in the new world.
A new human identity, yeah. I mean, I think that's a great question. It's a great, yeah. Where do the myths come from? You know, the myths come from the description of an ideal first, the description of the ideal hero, the ideal lover, the ideal king, the ideal, you know, teacher, the ideal. Well, and they also say trickster creates the world, right?
Я думаю, что Тристер создает мир.
So, you know, that place of the place of creativity, but also humor, you know, I think. Yeah.
This archetype.
I love that, yeah, the trickster creates the world. Well, who would be the new archetypes, you know? Who would be the new archetypes? That's a great question.
Yes.
I would have to
Maybe
dream
Tristan
on
will
that.
do it.
Или новые архетипы, появление новых.
Yeah.
New archetypes.
New combination.
New basic
Yeah.
elements.
I mean, I think, first of all, you know, people have to, I don't know, I think somehow Bali, you know, the people in Bali, it just reminded me of a story where, you know, this Balinese artist had about $70,000 worth of art, and he just gave it to this guy to take back to Canada to sell for him. Just, you know, didn't take any money for it, just the guy said, I'll sell this for you and I'll bring money back. And 1 year, 2 years goes by, you know, this guy just basically, you know, sells the art, takes the money and runs. So a friend of mine from Canada, she tried to find this guy, you know, to hold him responsible, and couldn't find him, he was gone. And she went back to the artist in Bali where she lives, and she said, you know, so sorry. You know, this guy, he ripped you off, you know. And the Balinese man said, what is that guy doing to himself? You know, what is that guy doing to himself? Not what did he do to me, I feel so, you know, ripped off or ashamed. That bad guy just goes, wow, what's that guy doing to himself? You know, and I think kind of maybe, you know, when we can start to ask ourselves, what are we doing to ourselves? Or, you know, when I start to live in that natural other space as well as I live here, you know. Like you know, maybe the Native Americans informed us about this is a totem, you know, this wolf, you know, this bear, you know. That's us, and they are me, and I am them in this other form, this other reflection, but made of the same dust, you know, made of the same angel dust, as they say, the same proteins, but in a different combination. I don't know. It's a great question, though. Yeah, it's a great, amazing question to dream on. I'm gonna be eating that question for a while.
И мне кажется, что нам для обозначения нового архетипа нам нужно новое слово.
And to define the new archetype, we need a new name for it.
Yeah, I think we first have to kind of live it, you know. I mean, we have to kind of experience it and be it, you know, be it, and then maybe the name will come from that. You know, I was thinking
a new type of knowledge, maybe.
Yeah.
Parameter of order, maybe. I don't know how.
I
maybe
don't either.
Maybe spirit.
Yeah, I mean, I think of spirit a lot. I think that word comes to me over and over again. You know, we were talking, I don't know if you were there yesterday morning, but I was talking about, you know, there's ambition, and I mean, there's ego and there's soul. You know, and everything is here in ego and role and ambition and self and ego and the description.
Yes.
And it's out of balance with the soul, you know, which is about contribution and uniqueness and leaving a legacy, you know, leaving this place better than where we found it, you know.
Само слово архетип с греческого переводится как имеет два корня.
The word archetype has two roots from the Greek language.
Yeah.
And type.
Archetype.
Изначальный.
It's original.
Yeah.
Original.
Тип, отпечаток.
And type is a sign.
Yeah, original sign. Yeah.
Original
И
sign.
когда мы говорим о новом, мы не можем говорить об архетипе.
And when we speak about the new, we can't speak not about archetype.
И мы можем обнаружить очень интересную позицию и новое отношение между
There is a
архетипическим
new opposition between archetypic
и новые параметры порядка,
Yeah.
новый дух, новый смысл, новый сенс.
When I think of that idea of archetype also, I go, yeah, I know where it comes from in Greek, but it also is something about an ideal that I can aspire to. So.
Это об идеальных каких-то вещах, которые вдохновляют.
And so I go, what's the new ideal in a way that we can aspire to, and
New type of consciousness. Contour.
New type of hero.
Contour of consciousness, maybe. Contour.
I know. I think also a lot about, you know, like you were saying, you know, that we kind of specialized in the intellect and forgot the soma, forgot this other mind that lives in the body, which is breath, which is spirit, which is the great animator, you know, the great animator. And then, you know, that mind, you know, connects with this mind and connects with this larger field mind, you know, that. You know, and that out of that space, out of that space in between, generates new possibility. Doesn't have here, but somehow it gets generated out of the connection in that space. Where you go, oh, I would have never had that idea had I not been sitting with you having that conversation, or you know, it would never happen in alone. It would never happen alone.
Были бы поодиночке, было бы не так. А сейчас
the awakener, you know, what?
Пробудитель.
You know, who are the awakener archetypes? Who are the awakeners?
Какой архетип пробудителя?
I don't know. Who are the awakeners? Is it the sages?
И каковы условия что кондиционирует связь с
And
этим?
what's the conditions for all this?
For
Для
awakening.
пробуждения. Какие практики должны
What
быть?
kind of methods, practices, and so on.
Oh, well,
И
there's...
каковы признаки того, что признаки телесные, какие признаки изменения сознания,
What
ощущений в
somatic
теле,
signs,
чувств,
mind
признаки
signs,
того,
or
что я соединен
I'm
с
sorry,
этим.
that I'm connected.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to first be connected here.
Mind and body.
Mind and body,
And
mind,
feeling.
heart.
Mind and
Mind,
heart.
heart, belly, you know, intuition, the enteric brain, you know, the heart,
Yes.
you know, the seat of the soul and the intellect. And I go, when those minds are not fractionated, you know, so we're not a bunch of, you know,
Yes.
floating heads, you know, that this instrument, when I come home here in a way, I suppose, then I can connect to something larger. If I can't do it in here, I probably can't do it out there. That's what I wonder. You know, that's what I wonder. And you know, what kinds of practices, I mean, and there's many, maybe,
Many.
that connect, remind us to go home. For me, it's certainly nature. You know, being in nature,
Being in nature.
being in reflection, being able to be there, be present in it, and reflect, and go, I am nature. I am, you know. In NLP we go, well, the map's not the territory, but the reality is, I am the territory. Unfortunately, I build crappy maps, and those maps disconnect me in more ways and less ways, depending on the richness of the map, but we're somehow neurologically built to do that. How is it that some people can drop those internal filters, those internal ones, the ones we have a choice about, and come to their senses? And what wakes them up to that? Sometimes it's tragedy, sometimes it's too little too late, you know. I suppose sometimes it's because their awareness shifts. They meet somebody who touches them in a way that they wake up and go, wow, I've been missing real life. I've really been missing real life. I think. But it's a beautiful, amazing question to hold about, you know, what is that new consciousness going to be, or what are the new ideals, you know? Who will be those new heroes? It's a really amazing question to hold. I don't know the answer to that, but I think we do. I think we, in that sense, know the answer to that.
Я думаю, что ответы на эти вопросы могут появляться только лишь, ответы на эти вопросы могут появляться только лишь в результате какого-то общего коллективного опыта большого.
Exactly, they'll merge out of these sets of connections, and you know, the more of us that are holding that question, who are we becoming? You know?
Однако при этом существует некая опасность появления дурной бесконечности, как это по-английски.
To appear as fully endless.
Когда разные.
It's like war. The full way of eternity. The eternity in a very strange way.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm capturing the feeling of that.
Я имею в виду появление огромного количества вдруг необоснованных каких-то утверждений. То есть этот опыт может давать
false prophets.
False prophets.
Well, and I think
You read our
it's from my religious background. I mean, my religious studies background. You know, the false prophets.
Yeah.
Как это точно переводится?
Well, you know,
Yes.
there are petty tyrants, and then there really are worthy opponents. There are petty tyrants, you know. Petty tyrants, you know. They have life and death control over us, but they're, you know, more like a thorn in the side, as St. Paul could say, or one of those guys. But then there are really worthy opponents, and I don't know that there will always be, if that's a way of humanity and about something as part of the shift, is to know, how are you going to know the difference? And you can only know that by what you know to be true in your heart but can't say. Maybe what you know to be true in your heart but can't really, put into that language description, because language is linear, and it's not a linear thing. It's a deeper knowledge than that. It's a deeper awareness than that. I know Buddhism really gives me a lot of space to kind of have more awareness, So, if I eat meat, which sometimes I do, of course, but it's with a different awareness, as just, have I ever actually seen a cow? Do I actually know that something had to sacrifice its life, or was sacrificed so that I could live? That awareness, so that, then I can choose to do that or not, but I do it with a certain awareness. Something about that, I think, is more and more and more important, at least in my life. And that keeps me somehow more connected to that larger system.
Да, я знаю большое количество людей, которые, путешествуя, получают очень глубокий, важный опыт.
I know many people that which during the traveling have a great experience.
Yeah.
И они нуждаются в том, чтобы каким-то образом переработать этот опыт.
And they need to reflect, to make some kind of reflection about it.
Они не хотят попадать в какие-то заблуждения.
They don't want to be the false.
They don't want, and I think reflection is definitely a key part of any.
То есть они нуждаются в создании определенного рода сообщества, которое могло бы, с одной стороны, которое могло бы, создавало возможность для развития этого опыта, для анализа его, для амплификации.
To create and grade this experience.
And amplify.
Да, и каким-то образом представить его другому человеку, всему человеку.
And to represent it to the whole humanity.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we're humans. We're people. We're humanity. We have species recognition. That's what we share. We share a nervous system that's the same. A nose south of the eyes, a mouth south of the head. We the walking, standing up people, whatever. But that's our basis of similarity. And then because of where we're born and where our attention is trained about what's important, not important. I think I was saying this the other day. I think Don Juan and kind of touched me in his idea that, and then we learn language and it solidifies this world for us. Then we travel, and we get enriched by these multiple descriptions, and wisdom somehow comes from these multiple descriptions. Not truth.
Yes.
Not truth, but a closer approximation, the kernel of truth in the big paranoia, or or wisdom in the sense that what is the reflection of humanity there through that special way, and then what's the new reflection that you bring, because you're not the same. You're not the same. I remember talking to anthropologist friends ago. It's much easier to go to a new culture and live for 2 years than it is to return home. Everybody expects you to be the same person. They treat you the same, and you're not. And they try to kind of collapse you back into this form, and you're not that anymore. You're not that. You're not that person anymore. Things that you used to do, you just go, why would I do that? What was I thinking? I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different. So I think that interesting, possibility of more and more connections, more and more possible potential connections are happening now than ever happened before. You know, that's gotta make a difference. A good difference or a bad difference, that's up to us. You know, and you know, we're the ones that, you know, can continue to carry that ideal through the way we live our life, I suppose, to make our life our message, or, you know, I don't know, it's such a great question to hold.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it is, this is lovely.
Давайте последний.
Да. То есть, знаете ли вы, во-первых, хотела бы Джудит принять, ну, как бы участие в разработке некой концепции, которая бы легла в основу социальной практики, помогающей вот этим людям отрефлексировать этот опыт корректно, строить диалог с этим миром.
Maybe, Judy, you want to have a conversation to contribute something to this community, if it will be a conversation. Yeah?
Нет, да. И если еще ученые, которые каким-то образом освободились от плена старого мифа.
And maybe there are some other scientists in the world, practitioners who can contribute also to this concept.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think there are many. I think there are many people of like mind, of like, I don't know that they're articulating the question as well, but they certainly have some awareness, and they're holding the space for all of us, you know. So first of all, I feel a tremendous amount of gratitude for that, you know, and if I'm in any way reflection of a part of that you know, blesses my life, you know, really, really. I'm gonna cry again. Yeah, because I really feel deeply about that.
That was the last question.
So there's, you know, the more of us that can hold that space, the more hope there is. And I run into, you know, I run into people all around the world that are holding that space, and some of those people are everyday people, and some of those people are, you know, healers from Mexico. And, you know, some of those people are very bright, smart, educated, and aware, you know, people. But the more of us, the better, you know. To bring some healing and to bring in, you know, in a new era, because it is a time of desperate time for the mom, the big mom. Yeah, I mean, you know, the Indians in Peru, and the shamans, you know, and the Navajo Nation that I know, and the sacred spaces even in the inner cities where nobody wants to live. There's not a house there anymore. It's just an empty lot. But, you know, there are people that are saying, finding the owners and saying, give the space to the community, so they can, as a community, create a sacred space, whether it's to grow food, because there are food deserts in inner cities in the United States, and whether it's to create a place for the children to play, because they have no place to play, or to replay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The music really is inspiring too. Thank you. That really helps a lot, as you know. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Have a good time.
I will. I will. You know, it's important. It's just that I'm passionate about it. So. It's one of my most passionate things.
Well,
Yeah.
мы будем списываться с вами через Олегу.
Maybe we can send email each other.
Yeah, it'd be great. It would be great. I just happen to have a pencil paper.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I mean, this is something I think about all the time. And sometimes you feel kind of alone there, you know? Yes.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's big or little, I think, but I think it's little. Voila. You want to give me yours, or you can email me and then I'll email you back? Or, yeah, either way.